know, this is just obviously just a quick little design that I created. Nothing special, but I mean, this is kind of a novice HTML5 series, and I don't want to get into too much JavaScript because this isn't a JavaScript series, even though we have been doing some JavaScript. So let's go down, and I'll just write a comment saying that we're going to be doing lines. Okay, and again, the first thing we want to do is get the element and the object and define variables for them. So this is going to be canvas 3, and it's going to be getting the ID of canvas 3 from here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so now we want to change this to 3 because we're going to have a context 3, canvas 3, and then we have the 2D, so that's fine. So now we have our two variables ready to go. Alright, so lines, kind of the same thing. We want to define our properties. So let's do ctx3 dot, and we're going to do stroke style, which will basically be the color of the line. And I'm just going to make that, I'm going to make that a dark gray. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have parentheses here. Sorry if that confused you. We want to do equals, and then we want to put them in quotes. Okay. And the next thing we want is the fill style, I guess. We don't need the fill style until we're actually done connecting them, but I'm just going to put it in now just so I don't forget. And that is going to be red. Okay. Let me move this up. So we get the stroke style. Now all we need now is the line width. So ctx3 dot line width. We're gonna do 5. Now we can start to make our object, and we're gonna start with a ctx dot start path. Okay, and that's just saying that we're going to start a new path of lines in this case. Okay, so first function we want to do after this is ctx3.move2. Okay, and the move2 function is what we have to tell them where we want to move to. So if we're starting from here, we want to move whatever 150 pixels over, and then 50 pixels down, and then we'll start the line. Okay, so we're gonna move to we're gonna move 100 pixels out, and we're gonna move 100 pixels down. Okay, and then we just gotta, we got a semicolon. Alright, so if we save now and reload, there's nothing there, but what it's done is moved us to around right here, 100 out and 100 in, about right here. So this is where whatever we do next is going to start. It's going to start from around here. Okay, so we want to do ctx3.line2, which does what a move to does, but also draws a line. Okay, so we're going to do 150 to 200. Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have added these quotes here because it's an integer, it's a number, so we don't need quotes. Okay, let's save this and reload, see what happens. And nothing happens. Oh, I did miss a hashtag right here. Still nothing. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't going to do it. We also need to do a stroke and a fill. Well, not a fill yet, but we want to do ctx3 dot stroke. Okay. Save. Nothing. What am I missing here? Maybe I do have to do the fill. But I don't think so. Huh. Oh, well, I see. I forgot 3 on the start path. Whoa. Whoa. Sorry about this. Having kind of a weird day. Well, still not there though. I hate when I get stumped like this. Start path. It's not start path. It's begin path. There we go. Sorry about that. So you see we have a line. We moved it down to here. That's what the move to did. It brought us here. And then we did a line to 150 to 200. Okay, and that drew that line. And it's 5 pixels wide from this property. The stroke style is the dark gray, so that's what you see here. The fill is a red, but there's nothing to fill yet. We haven't connected anything. So what I want to do now is to just keep going with the line. So I'm going to do ctx3 dot line 2. Okay, we're going to do 200. Save that. And I'm actually going to take the fill out for now, just so we can see. Alright, so, see. And let's do it again. You can just keep going with this as long as you want. You know, to draw things or to put things together. So, what do we want right here? I'm going to say, I'll leave the 200 and go to 290. Save. Okay. And then the next one. The next one I want to do 290 and 290. And then 290 and wait. Yeah, 290 and then 2 and then 100. 100. Okay. And then I want to connect it. I want to connect it, so I'm going to do 100, 100. Okay, so now we connected it, so now we can add that fill that we took away earlier. Okay, save it, and there we go. So we made a bunch of lines, we connected them, and we filled it. Alright, so next, so we have the first 3 done. Now the next thing I want to do is circles. Now making circles is a little bit tougher than making squares. but we'll be able to do it. Alright, so first, I'm sure you know what we need to do right now, which is just get the ID, the element with the ID, and we're just going to do canvas 4, CTX 4, 4. Okay, so now we can work with the context, right? And let's make a fill style. Fill style of, how about blue? Okay, nice easy color. And now see how we began the path right here? You don't have to, but I like to close it. Just looks neater. In some cases you do need it, but we don't here, but I just like to do it anyway. So, and then down here we got to begin a path, but with 4. Okay, and the next thing we need to do is an arc. So ctx4.arc. This is what you use for circles, and that takes a bunch of parameters. And this parameter is going to be where we want it, I guess. So 200, 100, 200. Oh, I'm sorry. 230. Let me explain this. You probably know already, but the 200 is from here to here. The 30 is from here to here. Okay? So now we want to define this circle. And I'm going to say 25 for the size of it. And then we're going to have a 0. And then this part is I really don't know how to explain this. It has to do with radiance and circumference of circles. But what we need to put here is math.pi. Okay. Math.pi times 2. Math.pi times 2. And I really can't explain this. It just, you need this to give the circle its full circumference, its full radius or shape or whatever. I'm not a mathematician. I was never really good at math, so but this is what you need to put in. And I'm sure, I mean, you could look up to exactly what this is and why we do it. So next we want to do, after the arc, we can fill it. Oh, I'm sorry, we just want to do fill. We just want to, yeah, just the fill function. Okay, now let's save and we'll reload over here. And we have our little blue circle. And we can change this. If we change this number, you know, to 55 and save it, it gets bigger. It's not moved down enough right here, so it's cut off right now. Okay. You know, and this, see, if we took this out and then we put like something like 44, saved it. It does nothing. That's weird. I just know we need this, so that's what matters. Alright, so now let's work on the next circle. And I began that path, now I'm going to close this path. Close that path. So let's change the fill style to CTX 4 dot fill style equals, and we're gonna do, I'm just gonna do red, keep it simple. And now we want to do pretty much the same thing here. Okay, now we gotta move it. If we don't change these, it's just gonna be a circle over this circle. So we gotta change the positioning. Okay, we're gonna do 200 over, just like this one, but we're gonna do 100 down so that it's under it. Okay, and we're also going to make it bigger. We're going to make it, say, 45. Okay, and now if we save it, reload, we have that red circle underneath. Okay, so that's, looks like we're starting to build a snowman. Now for the next one, we're going to do, see, there's a lot of repetitive stuff that you do when you're programming like this. So let's just change the color to black. Okay, and we want to make it bigger. We want to make it 75, and then we want to move it. We still want to keep the 200 because we want them all the same, you know, along the x-axis, but on the y-axis it has to be down further, and that's going to be 220 from the top. Okay, let's save that. I don't know why I keep doing that. Alright, so now we have our blue, red, and black circle, just like we do here. So that's circles. Now the next thing we're going to do is our final canvas is going to be on animation. Alright, so let's get started on this 5th canvas. You'll see in the HTML file we have canvas 5. This is what we're going to be working with. Okay, so let's start this. So again, we're going to grab the variables, and this will be canvas 5, context 5, the ID was 5. Okay. Now, I'm trying to think of how I could explain this. We're going to use kind of a looping function called set interval. So I guess I'll just get into it. So we're going to write this function set interval. Okay. Oh, I didn't spell that right. Interval. And we're going to do a function inside of that function. Okay. So we have a set interval function, and inside that we have a function that we're going to deal with inside the set interval function. Okay. I'm just going to close that out. Whoop. So the first parameter for the set interval is this function. So then we have another parameter, and I'm going to write 30. Okay. Now in the function, we're going to be doing some stuff that we've done. We're going to do a CTX5, and this is going to be the fill style, and we're going to make this a black, and we're going to do a, actually, let me explain what I'm doing right here. I'm going to make a rectangle, okay, just like we've made up here, but I'm going to make one rectangle, and it's going to be the entire span of the canvas, okay, and and I'm going to make it black. And we do that the same way by saying ctx5 dot fill rect. Okay, so this is just we're creating a rectangle, and this rectangle is going to start at the 0 point. It's going to start right here, 0, 0. And now the height and width, we're going to do the width first, and we're not going to put a static number in there. We're actually going to use the canvas 5 variable along with the width property. Okay, so it's going to be whatever the width of this canvas. And then the next parameter, which would be the height, we're going to do canvas dot height. Okay, so this rectangle we're building is going to start here at 0, 0, and it's going to be the entire width and the entire height. Okay, so I think I could save, and we could see. No, nothing yet. Oh, it's because we didn't fill it, I believe. Let me just, whoop, sorry about that. Let me just think for 1 second. What if we did ctx5.fill? This might do it for us. Save and no. Okay. Fill style black. Well, let me take it out of this function for a second and see if it'll work. No, I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I forgot the 5 here. There we go. Alright, let's put the function back. The 5. Alright, so now we have a black. And the reason it doesn't cover the entire thing is that right here, and we have all the canvases, we have a padding of 10 pixels. Okay? So this white, this is the padding. That's why that's like that. Alright. Let me see what happens if I take this away. Alright, so we didn't even need that right there. Yet. So the next thing I want to do is change the fill style. Or reset the fill style. And I want to make it white. Okay, and now we're going to do a circle now. Okay, we're going to do a begin path, and we're going to do an arc. Okay, and for this arc, I'm going to show you something. Alright, so we want to make a counter. Okay, we want to set a counter to a certain number, to 0, and then each time this interval goes through, it'll add 1 to the counter, which will let us put that variable into one of these, and then each time it goes through, this will change, which will cause an animation. And I could probably just show you easier than I can tell you. Well, first of all, let me just fill this. We need this fill and close path. Okay, let's see what this does. Reload. Nothing. fill style arc. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the circle. No, that's not it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's embarrassing. I forgot to have CTX5 as opposed to 4. So, alright. So now we have a white circle, which comes from this code right here. Fill style white, then we made the circle with the arc. Now I'm going to change this a little bit. Change this. I'll just say 100, and then we'll do 120, and I'm gonna do 55. Make the circle a little smaller. Save. Well, I don't know why I keep doing that. If you see my Chrome buttons up here are black for some reason, and I can't tell which is which. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But, and one thing I like to do here, you see how we have all these math pi times 2. I don't really like that there. It's fine if you want to keep it there, but I like to put things like this into a variable that I'm going to use over and over. So, I mean, if I just copy, I cut this, sorry, and then we'll make up a variable just called pi 2. Okay, now if we go back to the top, we want to go before, right here, right after the function opens, and we're just going to say, we'll define that variable of pi 2 equals this. Okay, so now, oh, sorry, we need the var. Okay, so now instead of using this, we should be able to use our variable in all of these places. It's just easier to read, at least for me. So if we save and reload, you see it's all the same. We're just using a variable, or constant, I'm sorry. It's more of a constant, because it's not going to change. Alright, so now let's get into the animation part of this. What we need to do, like I said before, is we need to set a counter. So here I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call it pos x for position x. Okay, and I'm going to set that to 0. Now I'm going to go down here and go to this arc right here, and I'm going to take away this 100, and I'm going to put that variable. Okay, so it was 100 over from here, but now it's going to be whatever this variable is, and the variable is going to start at 0, so this circle will be at 0, but when it goes through here, what we need to add here, which is extremely important, is that we want to increase, with each loop, we want to increase that variable, that pos position x, and we want to do that by just increasing 1. We can do that like this. Okay, so now whenever this runs, this will add 1 to the position. So after the first one, it'll go to 1, then it will go to 2, then 3, and as it's cycling through, this will be moving according to that position. So let's save this, and let's see if this is even going to work. Okay, so reload, and here we see it, our animation. This is changing. This position X, where is it? This, the hell is it? This position X right here is changing. Okay, so that's why it does that. and it doesn't keep going. There's code you can implement to make it keep going or come back or whatever. We're not going to get into that right now, but you know, if we reload, we'll see it again. So I just want to add a couple more circles to be floating through this little animation, and we can do that just by copying this. Okay, and this one, this circle, will make red, and what I want to do now is I want to make another position, but I want it to be position Y. Okay, and we're going to add one to that as well. And then I want to put that in this red circle. I'm just going to say, I'm going to put this back to 150 for the red circle, and then I'm going to change this right here to position Y. Okay, now we'll save, reload, and now we have two circles, one going horizontally, which is the X, and one going vertically, which is the Y position. So I'm going to go ahead and add one more, and this one can be blue, and we want to use, I'm going to have this one go down to you know, on the Y-axis. I'm going to move this over to 350 so it's not in the way of the other one. I said 350. Alright, save that, reload, and now we have a couple cool little circles animating nice and smoothly using HTML5 and some JavaScript. We're not using Flash, we're not using any jQuery libraries. It's just straight HTML and a little bit of JavaScript. So that's it for this tutorial. I think we learned a lot of the basics here. Like I said, there's a lot you can do with this. You just really gotta learn the basics first, and then you know you'll be able to eventually build some really cool applications using this technology. So that's it for this, and we'll be moving on next to section 4, I believe, or chapter 4. I think this is the last section in this chapter, so I'll see you in chapter 4.